How's it going, everyone? I hope you guys are having a great day. As today, we're of course going to talk more about this major winter storm that's expected to bring potentially historic snowfall to some portions of the southeast, and we could even see some of that snowfall move a little bit further northward into the Midwest and Northeast. We're going to talk about all that in this video, determine if that heavy snowfall has the potential of moving northward or will it remain light like what the computer models are stating at this point. So let's first begin with the GFS model, and we clearly see a very heavy amount of snowfall right over Arkansas, extending into Memphis. Northern Mississippi as well gets involved, northern Texas gets involved, and Dallas is expected now to receive accumulating snowfall. Now the forecast at this point is highly certain. Both of the most reliable computer models, the GFS and the European model, are nearly at a one-to-one agreement regarding the exact trajectory of this storm system, where exactly the heaviest snow will form, at least in the southeast, and where exactly that rain snow line will be located. As if we were to take a look at both of the computer models, they're nearly exactly the same. And since this forecast hour is less than 48 hours out at this point, we could be very certain that this will be the scenario we're going to see by the time we approach the Friday. So definitely, so if you're under the risk of heavy snowfall and heavy ice accumulation, you need to prepare now. It's highly certain at this point you're going to receive impacts associated with this. It's almost guaranteed at this point. So definitely start preparing right now. Don't hope that the forecast changes, because any changes we're going to see with the forecast are going to be very minuscule at this point. And you're probably wondering, who will this impact? Well, based on this map, we see that Dallas gets involved, Oklahoma City. This extends into Little Rock as well. Memphis gets involved. The rest of Nashville gets involved, and of course, even the northern portion of Georgia, Alabama, and Mississippi get involved with accumulating snowfall. And we could be talking about anywhere between 8 to 12 inches of snowfall in some areas, and I wouldn't be surprised if we do see localized areas where we see over a foot of snow. And in the European model scenario, like I said, very similar forecast. So you definitely need to start preparing, because it's definitely going to happen at this point, a significant winter storm for a lot of these areas. Now, if we were to move forward beyond the southeast, we do see that the snow begins to lighten down by the time it approaches the east coast. And the reason being is that the instability will reduce by the time the snow approaches the east coast. So we're going to see less of an unstable environment for this storm system to maintain that heavy precipitation. So as a result, pretty much anywhere that's just the east of Atlanta, or at least I should say the northeast of Atlanta, the snow will be a lot lighter compared to if you were to the northwest of Atlanta, mainly because the storm system will weaken quite significantly by the time it approaches this area. So we could be talking about any general area of 1 to 3 inches of snowfall. The GFS model also agrees with this scenario. This would happen right around the Saturday timeframe. The GFS model is still taking the slightly stronger solution, because it does expect this low pressure system to be a little bit more powerful, while the European model expects this low pressure system to be a little bit more powerful, which reduces the strong northerly flow that would enhance the instability for this low pressure system to the south of it, for the precipitation to be as high. But in general, there's still a pretty good agreement that we're most likely going to see light snowfall for the northeast, anywhere between 1 to 3 inches of snowfall for the most part. Let's take a quick look at the precipitation accumulation forecast from the GFS model, and we clearly see that it's going to be mainly light in the northeast. We're talking about anywhere between 1 to 3 inches of snowfall. So unfortunately for those guys who are hoping for that extreme snowstorm, I know it's been a while for many of you guys in the northeast, and you're hoping for that one major snowstorm. It's been 4 years since a lot of these areas experienced even over 7 inches of snowfall. So, but unfortunately, this snowstorm is unlikely to bring that significant winter storm you're hoping for, at least for the northeast. But it's a different story, like I said, when we take a look at the southeast, because we have a large area of 6 to 12 inches of snow expected in the GFS model scenario. But take this map with a grain of salt, because GFS model in its snowfall forecast, assuming 1 inch of rain equates 10 inches of snow, is heavily biased towards bringing the snowfall further southward because there shouldn't be accumulating snowfall this far south in Louisiana. This storm system might bring accumulating snowfall to the northern tip of Louisiana, but definitely not as far south as what you're seeing right here. And same goes for these other areas in Georgia, Alabama, Mississippi, and Texas. A better representation of this snowfall map would be the European model scenario because it has less of a bias of bringing that snowfall further southward. So don't think you're going to experience accumulating snowfall this far south in Louisiana. This should mainly be relegated just to the north of Louisiana border and just to the west of the Louisiana border where Dallas could experience snowfall and where there's a little bit more cold air. But in terms of the specific cities, how much snowfall you could receive, Memphis could receive around 8 inches of snowfall. Same goes for Little Rock. Same goes for the Dallas-Fort Worth area. You could easily experience probably around 6 inches of snowfall. Oklahoma City, you should expect right about 1 to 3 inches of snow. And then going into the Atlanta area, you might experience maybe 1 to 3 inches of snowfall as well. But let me show you guys the European models forecast real quick. So like I said, there's a much more accurate representation of what to expect when it comes to snowfall in the southeast. So Dallas, you're right on the border between receiving anywhere between 3 to 6 inches of snowfall to potentially 6 to 10 inches of snowfall. Little Rock, you should experience right around 6 or 8 to 12 inches of snow. Same goes for the Memphis area as well. And then we see that the snowfall accumulation does reduce the further eastward we go because the storm system weakens. Atlanta, I think the range should be right around 1 to 3 inches for Atlanta, but just north of Atlanta, it should be more like 3 to 6 inches of snowfall. Charlotte could maybe get involved with 1 to 3 inches of snowfall, and there's still a good possibility that places like New York City and Philadelphia don't receive any accumulating snowfall at all, or maybe just a dusting of snow, as this storm system, like I said, is expected to weaken significantly by the time it approaches the East Coast. So definitely keep that in mind right up along the East Coast. So right now, the official snowfall forecast, combining the most reliable computer models, is very similar to what the European model is stating. Little Rock should experience maybe around 8 to 12 inches of snowfall. Dallas is right on the border of receiving 5 to 8 inches of snowfall. Oklahoma City, you should expect 1 to 3 inches of snowfall, but don't rule out the possibility it could be more than 3 inches because you're right on the border of receiving 3 to 5 inches of snowfall. And then for Memphis, you should experience 5 to 8 inches. Huntsville should experience 5 to 8 inches of snow. Nashville, around 3 to 5 inches. And then for a lot of the northern Midwest cities, for Louisville, St. Louis, Cleveland, you mainly should expect 1 to 3 inches of snowfall, not necessarily anything significant. So definitely keep that in mind as well. So definitely prepare all throughout the southeast. So let's look at the Futurecast radar to give you guys a good idea of when you should start experiencing impacts in the southeast. So continuing to move forward, it is 4 a.m. on Thursday. We're going to begin to see that upper level low, the same upper level low that unfortunately brought strong Santa Ana winds over California, bringing a significant wildfire threat to the Southern California region, is unfortunately going to continue to move further eastward and will eventually lead to our next winter storm in the southeast. So we do see areas of freezing rain and wintry mix develop, as that's going to be another threat with this storm, which I'll go more into detail with that in a second. But we see that it continues to expand quite a bit. So definitely make sure to stay prepared for this, as it could be very unexpected. 10 a.m., that's when we really get to see the snow really begin over portions of western Texas, even into New Mexico as well. Oklahoma, you do get involved with accumulating snowfall. Then it really starts to get consolidated right around the afternoon time frame. And I wouldn't say the snowfall will reach the Dallas area until later on Thursday and into the overnight hours on Friday, as that's when we really should experience the heaviest snowfall right around Dallas, extending into southwestern Oklahoma and southeastern Oklahoma, and going into Arkansas as well. 4 a.m. on Friday. It's pretty much all Friday morning. It's going to be you're going to experience quite heavy snowfall right over Little Rock and the Memphis area. And moving forward with the forecast, we see the snowfall will eventually move into Tennessee. For the Ohio River Valley, it's better to lose hope right now when it comes to that significant snowstorm because it's unlikely to move that far northward, but you still should experience isolated areas of 1 to 3 inches of snowfall. So you at least still want to keep that in mind. You definitely don't want to underestimate even a smaller snow event like that in those areas, because that snowfall could drop at a fast clip. And then if we were to move into northern Georgia, we see some snowfall over there. And then, of course, ice accumulation, you need to watch out for that as well, right around the Atlanta, Georgia metropolitan area. And moving forward with the forecast, we see the snowfall will definitely lighten down, but there's still that freezing rain that you need to worry about in the Carolinas. So here's the National Weather Service current ice accumulation forecast. So we see a pretty large area where you could experience, where you are expected to receive over a tenth of an inch of ice, which could cause very significant impacts along the roads. Could easily cause power outages, because all that ice weighing down on those branches could eventually lead to a lot of branches falling on power lines, and that's what typically leads to power outages associated with ice events, as that's certainly possible in a lot of these areas in Texas. And all you need is over a tenth of an inch of ice, which is expected in many of these areas. And we even see an isolated area in Arkansas where you could experience over a quarter of an inch of ice to up to a half of an inch of ice, which would be quite insane. That would certainly be quite devastating. So make sure to prepare accordingly, especially right around southern Arkansas, where you're very vulnerable to receiving a significant ice accumulation threat with this storm system. And shifting our focus further eastward, we see that Georgia as well as South Carolina also has the possibility of receiving over a tenth of an inch of ice and up to a quarter of an inch of ice. So you definitely need to watch out for that right over Georgia, potentially just to the northwest of Columbia. You need to watch out for that possibility as well. And we have a large area of ice accumulation expected along the East Coast, so make sure to definitely prepare for that in a lot of these areas. But that's it for now, guys. Thank you guys for watching. Make sure to subscribe if you want to see more winter weather updates like this. I thank you guys all for the support you give me all these years, especially when it comes to a lot of these winter storm reports. So thank you guys so much for all your support. And thank you guys for watching. Make sure to stay safe with these snowstorms. And yeah, I'll certainly keep you guys updated over the next few days.